All right, Tim Sickles here. I'm tying the iced Mocha naked Stimi. Uh, this is one I've been playing with these body techniques on quite a few different flies, and I think it works really well on this one. Start by dressing the hook back to the bend. Then we're going to take some of the select cow elk in brown for the tail. You don't need a whole lot for the tail. I do this a little more sparse than I would on a normal Stimi. I like it to be a low flare, just pretty much straight. So I'm going to stack these. You can see I've got just a small clump of elk hair there. Tie that in right back at the bend here. And then I'm going to tie it in tight, and I'm going to come up to the front, and then I'll come back. Slide this. So that tail's about as long as the hook gap. I'm going to tie it in tight as I work up towards the head. Leave a little bit of room because I don't want too much bulk when I go to tie in the hackle and wings and everything. And I'll make a few tight wraps here, but then I'll make a couple loose to kind of cheat this so that it doesn't flare much. I'm going to make kind of a smooth body here. I'm calling this the naked Stimi because there's no hackle on the rear half. So I'm going to do a little bit of a taper on this body before I tie in my other body materials. It can be a little bit rough because we're going to put some tinsel over top of it. I'm using the ice blue pearl tinsel. This stuff's really cool. I mean, it's almost translucent with just a little bit of that pearl finish to it. Tie that in up towards the front of the hook, wrap it all the way back. Some touching wraps. We've got a decently tapered body. I'm not doing too defined of a body. I want it to be, thin enough that it's not going to affect the flotation of this fly. I still want it to sit up on top of the water on that tail. So now I'm going to wrap the tinsel, and I found the easiest way to do this without hitting the hook point is I turn the fly on its side, and then I can work around that, and I'm just going to overlap every single wrap as I go forward here. And the reason I'm not using the rotary here is I just like having a little more control over the tinsel, and I can really position each wrap where I want them so that they're overlapping as I desire. Tip that back upright, snip off the excess. Now that I've got the body wrapped with the tinsel and the thread, I'm going to come back with a little bit of Loon Flow and just do a real light coat. And this gives it makes that the body have a cool translucent effect to it. Zap that. Now we're going to tie in our foam wing. This is a 1/2 millimeter foam, the razor foam in the translucent gray color. I've cut it already with the River Road foam cutter, I believe it's the Stonefly wing. So we're going to tie that in so that the back of the wing is about even with the back of the hook, maybe a hair shy. Just get that secured. And then I'm going to tie in the old Select Cow Elk. This is the bleached color. I've got about a half a pencil diameter worth of hair. Before I pluck it out, I'm going to clean out all the fuzzies, all the under hair. And we're going to stack it. Oh, I've plucked out any of the short ones. And we're going to tie this in with those hairs sticking just beyond the foam wing. Probably about a hair behind the back of the hook. So a couple of loose wraps, and then pull up to cinch that down and flare that hair out. If you pull up, it keeps the hair from rolling. Then I'm going to secure these just like you would on your elk hair caddis, doing about a third of the hair at a time. I'm going to come back, cut this off at a bit of an angle. Make sure you get all those butts out of the way. Giving that a little bit of a taper will help to minimize the tie-in bump when we wrap our hackle over it. So now I'm going to tie down all these butt ends. And when we're done wrapping this, we'll have a nice sloped top on this. It lends itself pretty well to wrapping the hackle. Don't worry about those butt ends we've got. Those will get hidden when we dub this. So now we're going to tie our hackle in, and I like to start the stem on top of the head, and then I wrap it back so that it's on the side. And this is just a little cheat that helps with your bump too, so that it makes it a little less of a slope on that head. Then I'm going to take a little bit of super fine dry fly dubbing in brown. Get that into a real thin noodle. And this one I actually do a reverse taper on, again to try and counteract the shape of that head, because I want to give the appearance of as little tie-in bump as possible. So by reverse tapering that dub, it creates more of a flat head. Then we're going to come back and wrap our hackle. I do this a little tighter than the Stimi is traditionally. Traditionally it's just kind of spiral wrapped forward, and I do almost touching wraps of hackle. And then stop right behind the eye. We're going to tie this bad boy off. Come back. Take our whip finisher and finish this thing. I like a double whip finish with no, I don't like to do head cement because I don't like to chance gumming up my hackles. And there you have it, the iced Mocha Stimi.